Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Erickson Brothers Podcast, where we discuss the questions we don't know the answers to and the possible returns from life investments. This week, we'll be breaking down a few different things. We'll see where it goes. But Jeff, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, bro.
How are you investing your time and your money this week?
Yeah, man. Everything's good. It's been a good day. How you doing? First of all.
First off, yeah, I guess we'll add some pleasantries. Yeah, I'm doing good. Um, kind of run down, but hey, I'm definitely in a surviving, not thriving mood, but that's life, I guess. There's definitely phases of life. So
I like that. And hey, some days are some weeks are like that, where it's
yeah,
just like you just gotta do what's necessary.
yeah, yeah. So
Definitely feel that. But yeah, so in terms of how I'm investing my time and money this week, and I was just kind of talking with Matt about this off camera, but we were recently, so this whole last week, I haven't been working out and I've been using the time in the mornings to go Uber. And there's just I'm at a stage in my life right now where I'm wanting to make extra money Ubering. So on top of working full time at the financial firm, I'm able to Uber on the off time, which allows me to make more money, which is something that is important. So that's what I'm working on right now, and definitely not sustainable, as I think over time you want to have the best body and the best mind and like the most energy for your main thing. And I think in order to do that, you have to be working out. But I think temporary, it's providing a net benefit to my life. So that's a little bit of change from this week, from last week. But other than that, everything's good. Everything's good. So what about
nice.
you?
Yeah, I'm continuing to invest the time into this test I have next Saturday. So on next week's podcast, I'll have a result from that. But yeah, that's just been um uh, pretty constant. This past week of work was super busy, and and I I just did not have the energy to study after work. So I was studying before work, and then I'd work my 11, 12 hour day, and then after work I just needed to like go work out, but like mentally I was just drained from my work itself, so I couldn't study. So that if that happens again this week, I'm not going to pass this test. So I I told my boss, and was like, hey, I've got this. Like, he knows about it, like it's part of my job. But yeah, that becomes priority 1A. And uh yeah, we'll just see where it goes a week from now. Hopefully it's a pass. I've created around 300 note cards already. So here's one of the stacks I have. This is all the stuff I don't know. Um, so it's a pretty big stack of things I don't know, and there's still more note cards to be made. So uh, we'll see. We'll get it done. But that's how I'm investing my time, money, saving it, just making it convenient for that studying and work. So didn't really do much spend I didn't really invest my money, especially with like maybe we'll get into it later, but like with markets right now, a lot of people are pulling their money out of banks and out of the stock market and just holding cash. So it's not a bad time to just like hold tight and see where things go. uh maybe maybe put it into a nice like corporate bond or something like that. But yeah, that nothing new on the money front. Just assisting the time piece. So that's where I'm at.
Cool, cool. Yeah, there's in regards to what you were saying, first thing I thought of was this quote Alex Ramosi said, and he said, "I don't do my best, I do what's necessary."
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that as like for studying, right, you don't just do your best. Like you do whatever it takes.
Exactly. And I think with work too, like I'm not one to like turn down my responsibilities that I have at my job so I can study. It's just like, no, I do what's necessary. Like if somebody says, "Oh, Matt, can you do this?" Yes. Like, "Oh, Matt, can you do this?" Yes. Like it's not a matter of what I have time for. It's just you get it done. And I've been working next to me for the past 2.5 months has been this guy from the Netherlands, and he's been great. Like he's around 20, 26, 27. We get along really well. He's a great worker, but he's kind of shed light into the culture of the European workforce of it's much more work-life balance. You get off at 5, you're done, you're not working anymore, you're enjoying your time, and you work your 40 hours a week, you work your uh like for some people it's 36 hours a week with their vacation time during the summer and everything. So it's a lot chiller. And I think there's been times where it's he's been asked to do things and he's just like I just can't do it. And like from my perspective, I'm just like I've never said I just can't do it to anybody. Like yes, I'm going to figure it out as much as I can and then I'm going to give them an answer from there. But uh he he just sometimes gives these like older people just like the answer no, or I don't know how to do this, or I can't, which is interesting. But he's also like part of like the carefree European workforce to where like when he's done, like he's not constantly revolved in it. So quality of life in general is a lot higher in Europe, but I am starting to notice the differences there. So that was a very tangented. I don't even know how I got on that, but it's been interesting.
No, I mean I thought that was a natural progression. I was following you along the whole way. Um, yeah, cool. Good update. Love it. Um, I got two topics now that I'm kind of thinking about it. Um, and I could start off with the first one if unless you have something specific you really want to hit hard first.
No, you got it.
All right, so we've been putting our YouTube shorts on TikTok, and in the wild west of TikTok, um,
Uh-huh.
comes a full arrangement of comments from
Yes.
how people are reacting to our videos.
Yeah. This is what I want to talk about too. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
And my girlfriend Kayla she's been the intermediary between our YouTube account and the TikTok account. And she handles all the TikTok. Like I don't do anything with that. And because I don't really like look at it and because I'm not like paying attention to it, it really is irrelevant to my life. Um, but she was
Same.
like, "Hey, like you're getting some comments. You and your brother are getting some comments on what you guys have been posting." And she was just like, "Do you want to know them? Like, do you want to see what they are?" So I was like, "Sure." So I'm pulling up the TikTok right now, and I'll read some comments, and we can do some reactions. All right.
Some live reactions. Well,
Some
okay.
live, some live.
So I don't know if I've seen. She sent me a few comments too, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to keep it up?" And I was like, honestly, I don't care. But like my first reaction, it was on a video regarding. I said about how when you like what has been or what was a motivating factor for me in the gym was that I wanted to be like the best looking guy, the strongest guy lifting the most weight, and I wanted to be the reason that people were intimidated in the gym.
Yep.
And it that definitely was like a motivator for and on my mind for that week to just like look my best, look and look better than everybody else. But and then people ended up just hating that, and they're like, "Dude, this sucks. Like this is an L
Yeah.
take."
Here's a
So I
couple
was like,
comments. Here's a couple
so
comments from that video. LOL, this guy still works out at home. Another guy says L take. The other
Oh,
dude,
there's
the other dude says, "Buddy really does think he's that guy," and then someone just says, "Disagree." Um, so yeah, I mean, what are your opinions on that? I'll just let you keep responding and like how you even
yeah,
think about other people in regards to your
yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I think in congruency with the rest of this podcast, we've been very transparent that we don't really know what we're doing in most aspects of our life. And so like when you get comments about people like disagreeing, you can either be like, "Oh, bro, they're just a hater. Like they just suck. Like don't listen to them, bro." Or you can be like, like maybe I need to reevaluate what I'm saying." And like actually like if I'm not claiming to be a person that like knows all and like has everything figured out. So like just if I get a few comments, I can think like, okay, like maybe I shouldn't be doing that, or maybe that's not the wisest thing, or the the greatest thing that like should that I should reflect in my character. So I can definitely like take those comments into consideration, but
Mhm.
I think when it gets bad is when I'm like, oh, like I'm just like down on myself because like somebody didn't like it. Like we will continue to do this podcast. We will continue to post on TikTok, and we will continue to probably say some stupid shit that people don't like. So, like it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like people, that's not the first time people have disliked what I've said. Like my friends say that to me all the time. Like I don't really care. Um, so it's there's like two reactions. You can either be like, oh, don't let it affect you, or you can be like, okay, maybe I should adjust my mindset. Either way, I'm not too I'm not too affected by it. I think it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because I responded to Kayla and she said like, oh, they're just like haters or something, and then I was like, well, maybe it just like wasn't a smart thing to say. Like that's yeah, who knows? Like we're not like the wizards of like wisdom and knowledge here. Like we're very transparent that we're just trying to figure it out. So I got a lot of entertainment out of the comments and also like my reflection in those comments. And I think if not gonna take anything too seriously, maybe other people shouldn't take what I say too seriously either. So
Yeah, yeah, she texted me and I was like, yeah, like honestly, I don't really care. Like I don't even go on TikTok, so like as I was mentioning, like pretty irrelevant to my life outside of somebody just like commenting on how I choose to live my life in general, right? I mean, it's like if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, that whole thing. Um so naturally being a person that like I don't know, if you do anything, someone's going to disagree with you, right? So that's point A. And then as I like responded to Kayla, I don't know what I said, but she was like, "Yeah, you just got to prove your haters wrong." And I'm like, I don't get any motivation from like proving somebody I don't know wrong. And like I don't know if you're different in this, but like that to me doesn't motivate me to like go work hard, go make a lot of money, go be extremely successful, like go build a great life is to like prove somebody I don't know wrong. Um,
Mhm.
that's just never been like a driving factor for me. So like I responded, I was like, that's not something that like gets me to move. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious for you is like, do you have that like, oh, I want to prove the people who doubted me wrong? Is that like something that pushes you to pushes you to act?
Um, I think there's uh, proving haters wrong. Like people I don't know, yeah, for sure, don't care, never will. I don't care what Alex 420 at Unicorn 69 says. So whatever whoever it was, like I don't really care. But I think that like they're definitely a big piece is just like proving myself right or wrong and like fulfilling what I've said to myself more than anything.
Mhm.
Um, and like there's been a lot of like self-doubt that's honestly come from my baseball career, in like the results and like the stats that I've put up in college. They're just like didn't really pitch a lot. Like that's kind of like the theme, through Yale and Washington State. I just like did not pitch a lot. And like there was a lot of other like a lot of circumstances between having my freshman and sophomore year pitching behind like two first team all Ivy League players, one Olympian, two Olympians, two future draft picks. Like all those guys were ahead of me my freshman and sophomore year. Didn't pitch a lot. Junior year, COVID. Senior year didn't play. Washington State got hurt. So like I put like 2 to 3 hours into my every single day into baseball. But like what I have to show for it on the field and in stats is just like not there. But so there's always like self doubt. There's a lot of self doubt that I've like come to terms with, that it's just like it was never about that. It was about like the people I was doing it with. It was the experience. It was the discipline. It was the connections. Uh, it wasn't really about the numbers on a website. And but like it is interesting that like proving a lot of people doubted what I did on the field, or what I could have done, or what I did do. And like, do I have the numbers to back it up? No, but that's okay. Like there's things in life that are going to end not how you want it to, but that's just life. And I have a lot of peace with my baseball career. I love the guys I did it with. I have a lot of like respect for my teammates and coaches, and I did everything I could. But like in terms of like what I have to show for it in stats, it's just not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely agree. Cool. So topic number 1 covered. Topic number 2. Hit me.
Yes.
What you got? What you got on your plate?
Well, that was respond like the TikTok thing was just so funny.
That was funny. I'll read
Just
from
like really like here we go. Like I don't even know TikTok. I'm getting like people. It's like it's only a matter of time before my friend sees a TikTok, sends it to me, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, been doing a podcast for the past 5 months."
Well, see, I think we got to get to that point to where we just literally have so much content out there by the time it actually does hit more of people who know us. They're like, okay, you've actually have committed to this.
Yeah.
That builds more credibility in itself. But I'll read a couple quick comments that I got on mine.
Mm-hmm.
The video and the comment that people were reacting to is a TikTok I posted called Alpha Mentality When Running. And it was the story of me running shirtless with the guy. And he goes, "Bro really thought he was David Goggins." Another guy said, "Alpha sense and you took his soul. What are you on, bro?" And another dude says, "Oh my God, bro, that is so alpha. A guy in his jacket looked up to you. He could probably tell that you were his kind of guy," with the gay straight flag emoji. Anyway, so it's just like, it's funny stuff. And
I think one of the things that we talked about on the next week podcast is how it's not you versus him. It's you and him versus everybody else that's sleeping.
Right.
And
like, I do think a lot of like experiences in life take more time to kind of like think about it from different perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and one thing that I've come to realize is like that itself is emotional intelligence. How quickly you can process information and things that happen to you and then be able to turn around and add value to it, or like process it correctly.
Mhm.
Like for like having like a tough conversation with a friend or like a family member, like how quickly can you process the information that they're giving you, so that you can A, either move on yourself, or B, like help them, or just like say the right words. And I think in like a lot of meaningful conversations, a lot of people don't know what to say. And I think like that's like the true measure of emotional intelligence, is
Mhm.
just knowing what to say in the right times. And the faster you can close that window to where like I've had this, like the thinking about the what we were just talking about with the video about how I wanted to like be the reason people were intimidated to go to the gym. Like looking back, are my views on that statement different than when they were when I originally had them? Absolutely. But if I can close that gap, I think that's really where emotional intelligence,
Mhm.
uh, it can quantifiably be measured. And that I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe like, you know how people say like before you react to something, like take a couple seconds to like process it.
Yeah.
Right. So like if our first time doing this, like we took like a day, or like it took like us 2 days to think about how we would have responded differently. Right.
Hmm.
Like shrinking that gap gets us to like, ideally we're able to be like having 2 days of processing, we're able to shrink it down to 2 seconds, to
Hmm.
where you could probably like just realize it and come up with a more intelligent way of reacting, or just something that's just going to be able to serve you in a better way.
Yeah. Serve you, serve others,
Mm.
provide to the greater good.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Topic number two. What you got?
Topic number two. Um, my mind has been on the TikTok thing for
I
this
I have,
podcast. So,
I have another topic if you don't have one.
okay, go.
All right. So I was talking with somebody at work, and my business, we're 100% commission. So we it's all about like capitalism, and all about like eat what you kill. And someone was asking me like, have I always been like that, to where we get paid on the value we bring to the marketplace. And I was like, during this conversation I was reflecting on, um as a kid, I remember when we were as a kid, my brother and I, we'd mow a bunch of lawns, and we'd shovel driveways and stuff. We were very entrepreneurial at a very young age. And I remember this one time when my brother and I were shoveling a driveway, and our dad, it was before school, we were in like middle school, and our dad came up to join us, and my our dad was like, um, "So are you guys going to split this like half and half in terms of like how you guys get paid?" And you reacted with, "Well, I'm going to shovel more snow than Jeff, so I should get paid more." And I remember this conversation like from middle school. And I said, "No, that's not fair. I'm trying my hardest." And dad said, "Well, if Matt shovels more snow, he should get paid more." And I was like, "Oh, like that's how the world works."
Hmm.
And I kind of had this like communism belief as this middle school, that just because I'm showing up and I'm working my hardest, that I should get paid equally as much. And that I literally think that conversation was very pivotal in my life, because I realized that it doesn't matter what you think you deserve, right? It doesn't
Hmm.
matter what you think you should get paid, or how hard you try. It matters like the results you
Yeah.
produce. So that's what I
Yeah.
was telling this guy in my office. So wanted to share that.
Wow. I do not remember that. Um, a lot of things to unpack.
Yeah.
Definitely not surprised I said that. Like let's I don't, yeah, I think just definitely not surprised that was my reaction. Just being like the competitive person that we both are. Um yeah, that no, and like back to the baseball thing. I feel like I've talked a lot already about baseball today, but one of the things, it was the beginning of my sophomore year of college, during the fall. So for college baseball, like you play in the spring, but you practice the entire fall leading up to the spring. And at the end of the fall, there are usually like scrimmages and games that will like culminate um, around October that just like cap off your fall season. And the during one of the first team meetings, my sophomore year fall, the coach Tucker Frawley sat everybody down, and he basically said the same thing. He said it doesn't matter how hard you work, how many reps you take, how long you're at the gym, how long you're in the kennel. Like it doesn't matter how many swings you take off the tee. That doesn't matter. It matters if you produce or not. It when you have the ball in your hand and you're on the mound, do you produce? The game, because the game does not know, nor does it care how much you can squat. It doesn't care what your flexibility is. It's like, do you get it done?
Mm.
And uh, I came up like whenever Tucker Frawley spoke, it was like I was scared every single time he talked. Like he'd be in a room full of 30 people and me, and it felt like he was talking one on one to me every single time. Like that's just like the amount of respect I had for him, but it was also like there's like a fear thing. But I think like fear and respect go hand in hand. So he's one of the best coaches that I've ever had, and he wasn't even a pitching coach. He was just an infield coach, and he was incredible. So he basically said you have to produce, and I am listening to this coming off a horrible freshman year where I did not contribute at all. I was uh, just not pitching. Like I said earlier, I had a ton of talent ahead of me, but I thought like I was a hard worker, so I was like, okay, like whatever. But he basically like laid it all out there, and he was like, if you don't produce, you will not be on this team. And like it just like made it real for me. It's like, okay, like the lifting doesn't matter, the stretching doesn't matter. I need to do what's best for me in order to produce on the field. Um, and that fall, I ended up like having some really good numbers. Um, and I think that was just I attribute a lot of that to the conversation that it felt like he was having with me and me alone, but it was just to the team in general.
Mm-hmm.
But so secondly, but there's another work conversation, and people were complaining. Not everybody, but there was a few people commenting on how that the people at J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs get paid more, and even though they put in the same amount of time and they work the same, like they think they should deserve more. And in my head, I'm like, first of all, you don't work the same. Like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs are much more arduous, but they also produce more. Like they have capabilities that are beyond the scope of Rabobank. So like it makes sense that they get paid more. They are expected to do more. They're expected to answer email at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, whatever. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but like she was just complaining that the pay distribution was not equitable across all banks everywhere, and it just confused me that she just was just so hung up on the idea that another person in her position at another bank got paid more than her, and how confused she was that it wasn't the same. So
Mm-hmm.
I uh, that made me think a lot, and it was just like, if you don't like it, just like leave. Like go try and get another job. If you think you work just as hard, you can produce just as much at JP Morgan, go work at JP Morgan. Like nobody's keeping you
Mm-hmm.
at this bank. Like if you think you deserve more, go out and get it. But don't complain that you should get paid more and have nothing to back it up with. Like it made no sense to me, the logic behind there.
Right.
But yeah, very similar to what you were saying. So
No, I mean it's a jungle, right? I think that's the best like metaphor for it, right? It's like,
Mhm.
does the jungle care that like what your intentions are? Like, does the jungle, like if you're a lion, like is the zebra gonna give itself up for you? Like, no, it's like it's constantly a battle, constantly a fight. Like, yeah, no, I mean it's good, and obviously it has served me. That mindset has served me well in the past, and it will serve me well in the future. Um, yeah, so
Mhm. Yeah, it'll be um interesting when we're in different positions, if we have the same views, but I think we will.
yeah, well,
So,
I mean, that's one of the whole points of this is like we get to track how our views change on subjects.
mhm, mhm, mhm. So yeah, I think yeah, no one owes anybody anything. Um, like you
I
gotta
think
just
too,
go out and make it yourself.
when I think reflecting on that, in the moment, like when dad was like, yeah, like if he shovels more snow than you, he'll get paid more. I think I then started shoveling more snow. Like once
Mhm.
I knew that I had to shovel as much as you, I like unlocked a new like potential that I had. So like I really wasn't trying my best at first
Mhm.
because like I was able to give more, and then once I realized like, oh, I got to keep up with you, I was able to like produce more,
Yeah.
right? So it almost like, and that's like the whole point of capitalism, right? Is like it it spurs production, it spurs growth. Um, so
Yeah, and I think in yeah, like going back to like baseball, shoveling snow, mowing lawns, working in banking, your job, like you can compare yourself next to you. You can compare yourself to the person next to you, and that's all fine. Like you saw me, and you're like, okay, I need to shovel more than Matt or as much as Matt. And in baseball, you can be like, okay, I need to throw harder than the other guy on my team. I need to have better strike percentage. I need to have better breaking stuff. Or in banking, it's like, okay, I need to be more efficient. I need to produce better slides. I need to be smarter, bring better ideas to the table than the person next to me. But I think that what was a big unlock for me is that I'm not competing against the people next to me, to my left or to my right. Like I'm competing against the entire world. Um, like I'm like in baseball, I'm competing against the 18-year-old Dominican kid who has nothing else, who's throwing 100 miles an hour, and that's how he wants to feed his family later. Like that's who you got to think about when you're competing against in baseball. And like for banking, it's like, and especially in this age of technology, like their information uh, is so accessible to everyone, to where like the pool, the ocean is getting bigger. It's not, you're not just competing against the people next to you. You're competing against the people online, the people in the next city, in the in the next country, and that's it's just like a constant, like just a constant pyramid of you trying to get better. So that's what that's how I've been able to push myself in a lot of things. It's just knowing who I'm competing against, and knowing that it's not it's not the person I can see. It's the person I can't see that is willing to maybe outwork me, or maybe um out hustle me, or like just have better attention to detail, whatever it is. But I need to have that mindset instead of just the small fixed mindset of the people I see.
cool.
All right. Thank you everybody for listening in. The this the
We're not thanking you for listening in. It's your pleasure.
It's your pleasure. You're welcome. You're welcome, future me, for doing this. Um, maybe this guy really be thinking he is that guy. I was like, yeah, I am that guy. Uh,
Future you is like shaking. You feel like,
let's get
oh
that
my
through this
god.
TikTok. Let's get that through this TikTok guy's head. Like I am that guy. Um, and it's just a matter of time before he realizes it too. So, yeah, the huge week for this test. Just gonna praying for efficiency, that the knowledge would just soak into my mind so I can pass this thing. So yeah.
Yeah, finishing up episode. Is it episode 9?
Oh, I think it's 8, but I'm not sure.
Let's go. Let's see. We're finishing up episode 8 of Erickson Brothers Podcast. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's have a good week.
Hmm. How you do anything, it's how you do everything. That's what I'll leave it with.
Yeah, do the boring work.
Hmm.
Peace.